Morning, everybody. Afternoon, sorry. Welcome to our second fireside chat. We're joined today by Steve Mills from Decision House, who I'll get to introduce himself in a minute. But let me run through our agenda very quickly. I've neglected to mention that Paul's with me as well. Hello, Paul.
Okay, no, none taken.
He is sensitive. Be careful. So let's just get the deck up on screen. And away we go. I should have done this before we started. There we go. So we have a lady eating candy floss and October fireside. We decided on fireside as a name for now. We'll run a competition in a couple of months, I think, to let you suggest a different name for us, because I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah.
So Steve is with us from Decision House. He's going to be showing you a very early sneak preview of some consumer research that we've done. Then, if you can stay awake for the next bit, there are some changes to consumer legislation coming in that are possibly going to affect memberships. So we want to start an open discussion with you on that. The legislation is not finished yet, or it's not. DCMS and HMRC are arguing about it. When they're finished arguing, we'll know what we need to do and we'll go and do it. We want to start the conversation. Then Paul's going to show you all his holiday slides. I hope it's going to be a little bit more interesting than that. And then I'll give you a quick update on the Winter Works project. And we'll start some questions.
I'll curate the Q&A. So if you want to drop a question into the Q&A or into the chat, I'll keep an eye on those. So yeah. Other than that, let's crack on, shall we?
Off we go. So, Steve from Decision House. I've known Steve for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I suppose. And I'll let Steve tell you what Decision House do, because I'm not going to do a brilliant job of it. But we asked Steve to help us with some consumer research to really help us understand how we need to be developing our products. And also, more interestingly, I think, to understand what people are telling us about the weather. But Steve, I won't steal all your thunder. Over to you.
No, that's all right. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, just very briefly for me, a little bit about Decision House, because Andy was saying that most people here would be very unlikely to have heard of me before or know anything about what we do. So just sort of 30 seconds about what Decision House do. So we're a research agency that generates insight for organisations solely really within the culture sector. And we help them to either deliver better experiences for their visitors, or we help them to grow their audiences through work like segmentation research and audience research. In terms of who we work for, we did a lot of work with Alva during the pandemic to monitor public sentiment towards visiting attractions, so helping organisations to understand how they can safely reopen and not annoy too many prospective visitors. So that was a big piece of work from us. We also currently run the commercial performance barometer for ACE that my colleague John Young runs, and that's really taking a very quick look on a monthly basis at things like visitor admissions, retail sales, catering sales, and other sort of commercial performance measures that we try and get back into the market very, very quickly as a kind of quick feedback mechanism to take the temperature of where the attractions sector is at the moment. And actually, John has just put out a blog this morning that summarises the first 9 months of that. So if you go onto LinkedIn and search for John Young, then there's a blog on that updated piece of work. We also run Voice of the Visitor, which is our visitor survey service that around about 35 attractions are currently involved with. And what that's designed to do, and again, that was set up within the pandemic, first of all, but it's a survey template which attractions can build their own bespoke visitor survey around with our help. And you can build your own kind of data collection approach as well. And then results are all put together in a nice shared online dashboard. So it's kind of trying to make the whole visitor survey process very easy and cost effective, and give some kind of nice little benchmarking benefits as well. And we do lots of ad hoc research as well, whether that's qualitative, so things like focus groups and depth interviews, etc., or whether it's the more kind of traditional quantitative visitor surveys or audience surveys, etc., as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about us in a nutshell, Andy.
Thank you, Steve. A lot of the stats that you will see, listeners or viewers, that are quoted like people by such as Biaza or Alva or Ace or Enfan actually come from the work that Steve and John do. So there was something a couple of weeks ago that's all about where's the cheapest place to buy a cup of coffee from a museum in the UK. That was all Steve's work.
Yeah, that's from the Commercial Performance Barometer from Ace. Yeah.
So, a couple of things that Steve's going to talk about because he understands the data better than I do. First question we were looking at was weather.
Yeah. So we asked a question around what are the important factors when planning trips to attractions. Weather is one of the more important factors when planning visits, especially for families. But this we asked a very specific question around how often do you use weather apps when planning trips to attractions? And I love the result of this because it tells us what we want to hear, really. And that's that the top line there, so we can see among the population as a whole, you've got 70% of people who, at least most of the time, use weather apps when they're planning visits to attractions, and 39% say they use them almost every time. So a huge number, and it really kind of for the first time, we kind of always knew that people use weather apps, and people were complaining about the BBC and Met Office apps because they tend to be overly pessimistic. This now gives some really strong evidence behind how important it is for the attractions industry to get those apps as accurate as you possibly can. And I think the other thing that comes out of this is that it's especially the case for families. So those with children, the proportion that use it most of the time is up as high as 76%, 77%. And also there is a very strong age-related use of the weather apps as well, as I guess you'd expect. So as people get older, they are less likely to use those apps. But even among those who are age 65 or over, we've still got over half of the population saying that they use apps when they're planning visits to attractions. So, yeah, some very strong evidence around weather apps for the first time, I think. I think people have been clamoring for this sort of hard numbers for a while now.
It absolutely does evidence, doesn't it? The case that we've all been banging on about for probably the last year or so. Lots of talk in the industry, hasn't there, about how the BBC can boil down an entire day's worth of sunny weather to one rain cloud if there's even a sniff of rain somewhere nearby. And the obviously this is going to have a substantial impact on visitor numbers for those attractions. And I wonder, how do we build on this to be able to talk about, well, is there a better way of demonstrating what you're likely to experience at an attraction?
That's
is there
a
a way?
beautiful segue, Paul, because it leads me into Dudley Zoo. And I can't see the audience, so I don't know if we've got anyone from Dudley Zoo with us. But they actually put the weather from an app on the front page of the homepage, right at the top. So they're trying to curate and deal with it's big showers at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you're visiting between 9 and 5, and actually it's really beautifully sunny. So this is the start of a process. I think there's a lot more to come from this.
Yeah. Just to add one more thing on that as well, is that I think the importance of weather in the visit decision has got greater since the pandemic as well, and the cost of living crisis, because people have got more risk averse. So if they feel that like any chance of their day being ruined by the weather, then they won't bother anymore. They might have taken the chance in the past, but now people are, I think, a lot more risk averse than they were. Which actually might be now a good time to mention one of the other things that cropped up as well, is which is to do with being risk averse, is around people's desire to have flexibility to change their visit date. So when we ask people again about what would encourage you to book online in advance, actually having that ability to change their visit date or rearrange or postpone it is really important for people. And again, I think that's related to being more risk averse. So why on earth would I book online in advance if actually the weather might be crap on the day I visit, or I can't visit any longer because someone's ill or something else has cropped up or whatever. So why on earth would I do it? So actually having that flexibility to change the date is really important for people.
I wonder, there's a lot of psychology at play here, isn't there? There's a lot of human behavior and what leads people to make a buying decision. And I wonder if you give people that guaranteed flexibility, your intuition suggests that that is likely to increase your conversion rate. Yeah, because you've reduced the stakes of making the decision, haven't you? Because you can always delay it to another day. And I wonder if, faced with the decision of whether I'm going to buy or not and hand over my credit card the night before I travel, when I'm looking at the weather and it looks a bit rubbish, versus on the day when I look at the weather, I've already bought my ticket, I've sunk the money. So this isn't a buying decision anymore. This is a visit decision. Do I want to visit today, or do I want to defer my ticket to another day? I, I'd be willing to bet good money that actually more people will visit on a rainier or on a poorer forecast day when they don't have to make the buying decision. Does that make? Am I making sense, or am I
You
talking
are. You're making
nonsense?
absolute sense, Paul. There's definitely some research around that. And if you talk to the ticket insurance people, they've got some stats on it. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. But
Yeah.
I know that some of our Heritage Railway customers have been in conversations with Mr. Bradford about exactly that right now, because it
Right.
does improve your conversion rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm wondering whether if it not only does it increase your conversion rate, but it also increases the likelihood that people will attend on a day that has poorer weather forecast.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're not actually
definitely some
putting
more work to
yourself
be
at,
done on that.
yeah, you're not putting yourself at risk of taking money and then having to constantly change the tickets, because people are less likely to change the tickets once they've committed to buy them.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
move us on, because we're
Sorry.
becoming three middle-aged white Englishmen talking about the weather. The next piece of information that Steve's pulled out for us is looking about payment processing.
Yeah, I think as we've said there, it is all about speed once you get to that payment process. I think as Andy's put in this slide here, the one thing that really jumped out at me as being interesting was the fact that people really want multiple different payment options now. They want it to be super quick. To the extent that
Hello, Andy. You.
Oh, excuse me.
There we go.
we don't need to see what you're buying for your lunch, Andy.
No,
Sorry.
it's live.
Um, yeah, so they want kind of multiple choices at payment, and they want absolute speed. And things like Apple and Google Pay was mentioned by a significant proportion of people. So this was a question where people could say exactly what they wanted, actually, and comments with Apple Pay and Google Pay were very common, and 7% of people, as we can see from down there, said actually I want multiple options for how I pay. Actually, I don't want to have to go and dig around in my wallet for a credit card anymore. I just want to be able to press a button and do it. So it is all about speed, as is frankly the whole ticket purchasing process. Once someone has decided I am going to visit this attraction, they want to pay as quickly as they possibly can. So yeah, things like Apple and Google Pay increasingly, and also an increasing number of people talking about actually I just want to be able to download it straight into my digital wallet. And I think that's a definite okay, I've ticked that process off. I don't have to worry anymore. It's in my digital wallet. I can now park that until my visit experience. I have to say, one of my big bugbears is when I do purchase a ticket and the organisation says we'll send you the ticket the day before, and that because I can't then park that in my head as solved. It's always there until I get that ticket. And I think that
well, that's a view inside your mind, isn't it?
or maybe it's probably just me, to be honest. But there were a lot of people within this saying, actually, I want that instant email confirmation. I want that instant ability to download it into my Apple Wallet or Google Wallet or whatever it is, and then it's done, and I can forget about it until my visit.
I wonder, when you look at it, the guest checkout had such a low level of people checking it, whether we weren't very clear about what that actually meant. Because the flip side is people don't care for a guest checkout, so they'd be okay if there was a member-based checkout. You have to create a membership, but I think that's such a hideous experience.
Yeah, I mean, the Baymard Institute have stats on that where it drops your conversion rate by 25%.
Yeah,
like that. So,
absolutely. I just wonder if our language was such that this was a piece of consumer research. We all know what we talk about when we talk about a guest checkout, but do the great public know that when we survey them?
This is sponsored. So we have coded all these answers up so people can have talked exactly in their own way. So this is kind of our way of coding it up. So guest checkout was as we were talking about there, is people who specifically say, actually, I just want to be able to check out as a guest. I don't want to have to log on and create an account.
I see.
So it's actually it's much, the whole speed thing is much more important. It's a kind of a subset of quick checkout, really. It's all about speed.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Moving us on again, the report itself is being published right now. It came out at 12:30. There will be some publicity about it. There is a page you can go to on the CrowdConvert website to download the report. We'll circulate a link with the recording from this. Steve, I believe you're going to be at VAC in London with us next week.
Yeah.
So if you want to understand more about Steve and what he does, understand more about the questions, then you can guarantee we're going to be there chatting about it. And the questions that were actually answered are on the final pages of the report. So if you want to dive into some more detail on that, then I need to explain to you why I was just popping up my Teams screen. A lot of the reason for us doing this research was really to direct what we need to be doing. And I have already started the conversation with Mr. Radford about how quickly we can get Google and Apple Pay into all of your checkouts. It's a really significant, and obviously the new web product has it straight out the box, but we'll look and see if we can get that out more quickly than the new web product. So moving on.
Before you move on, I've just dropped a link to the research report in the chat window. So
that's almost like we rehearsed it, isn't it?
I know. We almost know what we're doing.
So moving on, this is where you can switch off for 5 minutes. It becomes a little bit more tedious. I want to talk about memberships and the Digital Markets Competition and Consumers Act, DMCCA 2024. You still with me?
No, not really. Better speed it up.
I'm going to go very quickly. This is a piece of legislation that came into force last year and will be enacted or implemented in spring 26. Where it's interesting for us, there's two things. It introduces 2 14-day cooling off periods for subscription contracts. So if you sold a membership via direct debit, you need to give your new member 14 days to cancel that or to cool off. You might have seen something on the front page of the Times about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. English Heritage National Trust are getting quite involved in conversations with government about this because it contradicts gift aid regulations. If you're selling a membership that becomes a donation to enable you to gift aid it, that shouldn't be refundable. So obviously that conflicts with this. But actually, this is a much wider issue. It affects everybody that's selling memberships via subscription. We don't know, DCMS and HMRC are consulting about this right now. We don't know what they're going to come up with. It's likely we're going to need to do something else. We can't tell you what we're going to do yet because we don't know what we need to do. The reason for bringing it up now is NFAN, BIASA, BALPA, Alva, any membership organisation that you're a part of will be doing something about this now. So let's start contributing to that and adding some of our voices to it, please. so that we get some sensible legislation from the government rather than something that's going to cause us all sorts of problems. So those two 14-day cooling off periods are at the start of the contract, so when someone signs up by direct debit, and at renewal. So every time someone renews, they're going to have 14 days to cool off. It also, another piece of in this legislation, it requires an easy cancellation. So if you can sign up for a membership or a subscription on direct debit online, you have to be able to cancel it online. Now, obviously, we need to do some work on that. Again, Mr. Radford is being added to his list. Paul's just popped up a message. Is anybody else dealing with this? Has anyone got more experience that they want to share? Raise your hands and we'll rope you in. No, I've bored everybody to pieces, haven't I?
Yes.
So let's go on. I think I mentioned Amy is involved in the chats with Alva. I have messaged Bernard about this, and I expect to be speaking to him about it when we're back in London next week. So if there's anything you want me to raise in that conversation, just drop us a line or a shout. So that's it for DMCCA. There we go. So moving away from everything that's going off in the outside world, let's talk about what's going off inside and what we're doing right now. You should have received an email this morning about our new help desk. We've been working on the help desk in partnership with K3 since we completed the acquisition. So you all have seen some K3 BTG email addresses and all of that kind of stuff. This has taken us longer than we'd hoped, but we're now getting to the point where we're ready to replace the help desk. For Paul and me, this is huge because I can't currently see any of the faults that you've raised or any of the tickets you've raised because I'm not part of the K3 BTG unit or group. So
bizarrely, our dashboard is manually curated at the end of every day, isn't it? And we see the direction of I know the direction of travel of our KPIs is really, really good, but it's not real time and it takes effort for people. And wouldn't it be amazing if we had a system that could just do it for us?
So we're making all these changes this week and next week. The team, Claire, Leo, Harry, Rich, I'm not going to carry on because I'll miss someone and I'll upset them, have been putting a huge amount of effort into trying to close successfully and with your agreement as many tickets as they can, because we need to migrate all the tickets from the old system to the new one. And obviously if there are fewer tickets, that's easier. So we've got Claire's put together a series of communications. Like I say, you should have received the first one yesterday or late last night.
Yeah, can I just say one thing about that? So we have been sending out quite a number of communications recently by email. Some of them are newsletters, some of them are kind of more factual updates on things that are happening. There's a pretty good open rate and click-through rate, but and we send these messages to everyone that is a current customer that has ever raised a support ticket previously. So people that are touching the Merak software and have raised tickets previously are receiving these messages. I'd be interested to hear from anyone who for whom it's not arriving in their mailboxes, because there's a reasonable number of people that aren't opening the messages, and of course we all get inundated with mail, and it could be that it's just this it hasn't reached the top of the priority list, or it could be genuinely that stuff isn't arriving in your mailbox, and I'd really like to know that, and because I can then go and investigate where it's going wrong. If we're using a megaphone to yell into a void and you're never getting the messages, that's no good to man or beast, is it? So I'd love it if you're not getting those messages, just let me know. Especially if you'd like to receive them and you're not getting them.
There's one problem with your request there, Paul, is that anybody who received the message will have joined this webinar.
Well,
So you're talking to the wrong people, but I admire your desire to get that right.
but it's a
So
point, very good point, well made.
you will receive multiple communications. There's going to be a new email address. It's not going to be a K3BTG email address. It will be a merrick.co.uk email address. I think we talked last month about us having reintroduced a phone number. We need you to use it, please. It makes our jobs much easier. There's going to be a different place for you to track tickets, and one or two of the communications that are coming out over the next few days will give you instructions on how to do that and screenshots so you can see what it's like. And for us, it means that our team can see what your issues are, because not everyone's been able to. The support team are going to be able to see your requests because we're putting this all into the same CRM system. So if you've requested a change to the way postcode lookup works, then the support team are going to be able to see that when they're dealing with your issue, and they may well be able to fix two things at the same time. And we're going to move to some more useful metrics, key performance indicators and targets, one of which I'm very keen on is the number of times that a call is handled. So if we're in this place where you fill out a form, I get the form, I have to open the form, read it, understand what your issue is, probably try and contact you to ask a couple of questions. So I email you back, then you email me the next time you're in. We're going loads and loads of back and forth. So each of those is we're handling the call. My objective is to get to the point where you phone us up and we fix it while you're on the phone. It makes our lives much easier. It makes your lives better, and it's massively more efficient. But that's a personal aspiration. That's it for the help desk. We've been out and about.
We have been busy, haven't we?
Paul's holiday slides bit, and there aren't many pictures. You'll be very pleased to know. And this is a place called Tibidabo in Barcelona, where Paul, Claire, and I were out at APA.
And you didn't get me into Tribadabo. I was sat at the bottom of the hill watching everybody partying at the top of the hill, thinking, "Oh, I wish I was there with everybody." But you didn't get me in.
That's probably because you weren't on the right mailing list.
I know. This is a look at what you could have won picture. This is not my holiday pictures.
So while we were out and about, we recorded 5 episodes of our podcast, Skip the Queue, and with lots of very interesting people from all sorts of different walks of the attractions world, not just Spanish theme parks. And they're all available now on Paul, what's the URL, please?
Go to skipthequeue.fm, or you can search in Apple Podcasts or in Spotify. Just look for Skip the Queue, and we're right there. So I'll share some links in a second in the chat window.
Thank you. I will put out a challenge. Claire's husband has some bizarre Android app that's only ever been used 3 times to download the podcast.
I'm disappointed that he's only listened 3 times.
There's a challenge now. If you can find a really bizarre podcast app and use that to listen to Skip the Queue and send me a screenshot, for person with the lowest gets, I don't know, a bottle of beer.
There you go. A pat on the back.
A pat on the back, yeah, that'll do. There's a couple of other trips we've been on. Paul, you were in Ireland last week?
Yes, I was. Yeah, we had Tourism Northern Ireland have a big tourism campaign called Embrace the Giant Spirit, and it crosses the whole of Northern Ireland. Visitor attractions, restaurants, hotels, and all that kind of thing. You fly into City of Derry Airport, and plastered all over the side of the arrivals lounge is Embrace the Giant Spirit branding. And we were at their celebration event. They meet as a portfolio of attractions, talking about what they've been doing over the last year, and it was just lovely to take part in that and talk to them a little bit about some of the stuff that we care about, like digital sustainability and reducing your improving your conversion rate, reducing the complexity of your checkout process, those sorts of things. So that was a really, really lovely trip, and I got taken on a walking tour on the city walls of Derry, which was just, it blew me away. It was a beautiful city, so I had a lovely time there.
Very good. And then we're out on the road again. I think I mentioned that we're at VAC in London next week on Thursday. Paul, you're in Ireland again, Monday,
I
Tuesday.
know. Basically, it's time for me to get a red passport, isn't it? Surely I can have one of those back, please.
I think they're
I
green, aren't they?
Are they?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'll
I
ask
don't
my
know.
wife.
I'm off to Waterford for the Avaya National Conference. We'll be recording an episode of Skip the Queue, where we will be talking all about our other big piece of work that we've been working on recently, which is Skip the Queue is moving beyond just a podcast to being a series of industry-led white papers as well. And the first of those is a playbook that we produced with our friends at Stephen Spencer Associates and Navigate, all about gift shop e-commerce. So what do you need to do to take your e-commerce experience, or do your amazing gift shop experience, and move that online? And how do you Stephen tells you how to identify who the audience is, what they're interested in, how do you curate products to go into that gift shop. We'll help you build it and tell you ideas about how you can build that gift shop. And then our friends at Navigate will help you to get bums on seats. How can you get people into your new online gift shop, and make it as popular as Tank Museum, who we all know have been phenomenally successful selling fluffy tank slippers online and making a pretty penny out of it. So what can you do to be able to capture some of that brilliance that they've done there? So we're launching that at the Avaya conference next week. So if you're interested in learning more about that sort of stuff, follow the link. We'll be sharing that white paper shortly. We've written quite a lot recently, haven't we?
Absolutely. And because there's also the visitor attraction website survey coming out next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You holding my feet to the fire there, aren't
I
you,
am.
my friend?
I'm telling everybody publicly that Paul is going to finish writing it this week, so we can get our friends at Plaster to make it look beautiful,
Well,
and then share that with you.
I got a whole flight to Dublin, haven't I? I'm sure I can write the report in that time.
You need to go the long way round then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sure that that's going to not consume too many carbons or issue too many carbons.
Yeah, maybe.
We're also going to be at the Heritage Railway Association conference, or I'm going to be at the Heritage Railway Association conference down in Southampton, first week of November. Looking forward to meeting loads of people, loads of new people down there. It'll be my first time at that conference. And we might be in a position to share some of the interesting conversations we've been having with a couple of railways about how we can, or how we aspire to make the purchasing process much, much more tightly integrated with the website. So you've all got loads and loads of beautiful imagery. So if we've got a picture of the Flying Scotsman on the front page of your website that's looking absolutely beautiful, let's just put a button on that allows me to book a ticket to go on the Flying Scotsman. Don't offer me everything else. Just give me what I'm looking at, the thing that I'm engaged with on your website, because I'm convinced, and actually Steve's convinced me even further. We will sell more by doing that, by making it easier for our customer or your customer. There was a message that popped up that I didn't see.
I just saw that. So Robin Savile has said they're putting their gift shop online over winter, and they'd be really interested in links. We'll definitely we're not going to stop talking about this. I wouldn't worry, Robin. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to get links to download the playbook.
And then maybe, Robin, we can get you back on as a guest in Steve's place on the webinar in January, February to talk about your experience.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping you're looking now for the thumbs up button to agree to that. The final slide I have on our out and about section unless I've missed anything. This was my experience on our first day in Barcelona with Claire. We're stuck on the other side of that metal door in the world's smallest lift, the world's smallest, hottest lift. I think we were there for about 45 minutes.
And it's as funny now as it was the time that I was there watching you two.
With Paul is actually standing behind these firefighters who are rescuing us.
Videoing the whole experience.
There is a video. I can't share the video with you because it wobbles too much because he was laughing at us.
And there's quite a lot of profanity in that video.
There was an awful lot of profanity. But I'd just like to publicly say thank you to Claire for putting up with us and staying with us after your experience of being in a metal box with me for 45 minutes. It's not something that everyone's going to get to experience, I hope.
Final Q&A before we pause. Robert Gray has said, will we be able to share visibility for colleagues within our organisation for tickets raised in the new support portal? Leo has said, yes, you can do that. So it is a request to be able to do that because we have to configure some stuff to enable it to work, I think. But yes, everybody within the same organisation can see tickets, or not. If you only want them to be able to see their own tickets, I think. Leo, can you say yes? I'm not talking nonsense.
Leo, you able to join us on screen for a moment? You want to chat about that?
I'm just going to go and find him and add him in.
Well, he might be sitting there in his pants. We need to give him a chance to say no.
I'm not turning his camera on. I'm just allowing him to turn his camera on. There you go, mate. You've got permissions to turn your mic on now.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you will be able to request to see all tickets to your organisation. So it's per contact based. So you can request it from support, you can request it from your CRM, and you'll be able to see all tickets for the company you are associated with.
Brilliant. Thank you, Leo.
Right.
Leo and Harry have done an amazing job in terms of getting HubSpot up and running for us, and the team are absolutely grafting at the moment to get all the data across and be ready for the switch on day. So yeah, I think we need a big round of applause for the guys on this. Andy and I are both eagerly looking forward to being able to see support tickets and get involved. Very much so.
And please also everybody bear with us. It's a new system.
Yeah.
If we have missed things, it's by omission, not by intent, not by design. If there's an issue, just shout, let us know, and we'll do our utmost to resolve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We might not be able to because you're not getting your only way of contacting the service desk going back to being by form. So we're rehumanizing things, remember?
Absolutely.
This is just a plug for Skip the Queue. We've done loads of work on that. We really enjoy it. We really enjoy going out and talking to interesting people. We work in an interesting area. Steve, we will invite you on for a whole episode. So you could go download from skipthequeue.fm, or it will be in the links to this recording. And if you've got a story that you think would be really interesting, give us a shout. We're running weekly now, and potentially about to run out. Amy, you can start from the beginning, although this is 7 series in, so
yeah,
there's quite a lot. And then
I highly recommend it as you're mowing the lawn or doing the washing up. So plenty of opportunity for you to catch up.
Paul, tell us about what you were doing on Monday. This week.
What do you mean?
Am I breaking your confidence? With the Traitors episode
oh, sorry, you mean the Monday just gone? Yeah, I had an amazing episode. So I got to go to Traitors Live, and I got shown around by the creative director of I can't remember the name of the company that.
Claire, please help.
Yes, please help me, Claire. But Neil at Traitors Live. There we go, the Everywhere Group. and Neil took me around the live experience. It's amazing. It really is like being in the castle. Sitting at the round table is just like sitting at the round table. Um, I I described it. I'm not sure Neil liked my description of it, but I described it as like the highest fidelity escape room you could ever possibly go into. It really did feel like you were there in the castle. They've compressed what you 2 weeks worth of TV show into a 2 hour experience. What I loved was yesterday or on the launch episode of Traitors Celebrity, one of the traitors, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Stephen Fry was talking about it, but he used the description that Neil said was his vision of what the live experience was like. Neil said to me, I knew my job was to make people's hearts pound through their chest as they were sat there at the round table trying to either lie there through their teeth or defend themselves against being a liar. And last night one of the traitors said exactly that he was sat at the round table with his heart beating through his chest. It's a brilliant episode to go and listen to. I loved it.
Perfect, thank you. I'm not jealous at all.
No, I know. I was straight in there. I was like a rat up a drain pipe. I was quite desperate to go and meet Claudia, but she wasn't there, unfortunately.
I know, we were busy. So moving on, we're getting towards the end of my deck now, so we will have some times for Q&A today. We talked last month about us reworking the e-commerce experience as one of the first things that we were doing, or actually the second thing we were doing after changes to our support team. I thought I'd share some screenshots of what that looks like, because it's now live in the real world with Cotswolds Farm Park. I don't think we've got anyone from Cotswolds Farm Park with us to share their feedback, but I'm sure if you drop them a line, they'd be happy to share what their experience was. So we're on www.cotswoldfarmpark.com or .co.uk, and we've clicked book a ticket or book a farm park ticket. They obviously is a farm park. There is hey Pete. So Paul will bring you online so you can comment and hopefully back up everything I'm saying. You click book a ticket, not book an accommodation because we haven't done that bit, and you're presented with the calendar. You choose your date. I picked the 18th of October. You choose your tickets, and then if I was doing this live, I'd just go to the bottom of the screen and show you what I've got on the next slide. But because I didn't want to do this live, I just took screenshots. We're now able to check out with Google Pay or pay by card. This is using Google Pay because I was logged into Safari while I was a Google product as I was using this, so the system knows what I'm set up for. If I was on my iPhone, it would offer me Apple Pay. At that point, we're gathering your contact data, your email address, your postal address, and your phone number from Google or Apple Pay. So you don't need to complete any of those. So we've checked out for 2 adult tickets in 3 keystrokes. That's where we're trying to get to, and we did that before your research came out, Steve. But that's where we're trying to get to. We're with Creeley next week, talking to them about all the work they've done on food and beverage, because we've already started building the food and beverage order solution. The team working on that now, we've got 6 people working on the whole development of the new e-com solution. The team have promised me that this is all going to be ready to go into trial before Christmas. Now that's going into trial at one customer, and let me be very clear, because I'm going to get beaten up by the support team and Claire in particular if I start over-promising now. We want to get to the point where we have proven this and we've tested it and we've really tested it to death before we start rolling it out anywhere. For far too long, far too many software providers have promised loads and delivered nothing, or delivered a bad solution, if anything at all. We really want to avoid that, so we want this completely tested and ready to go before we come and talk to you about it. Having said that,
oh sorry,
I am looking for a test test site or a beta test site for time slots, memberships, and gift aid. So if that feels like you and you're interested, give me a call. Sorry, Paul, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, Ian has said to us, will we be looking at a solution for accommodation bookings? And I think we've got to be really, really careful not to promise the world in terms of the roadmap. But the vision that Andy and I both have is a joined up solution that enables people to easily buy all of the things that an attraction might have on offer. So we definitely see a world where it is super easy for people to dynamically package their accommodation with their ticketing. When we get there, that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, accommodation booking is definitely on the desire list.
Yeah.
It's not onto the practical we're going to do it list yet, because we've got that practical we're going to do it list is quite long.
It is indeed. But it's part of the vision, isn't it?
It definitely
we can see
is
a
part of the
world that
vision.
looks like it.
And it won't just be selling your own accommodation, is my aspiration. One of my first lines to Paul when we first met and started talking about what we're trying to do and where we're going was that a lot of attractions sell tickets at heavily discounted prices through all of their local hotels and B&Bs. So you're taking a 20% haircut on your ticket price by the B&B or hotel packaging it for you. Wouldn't it be nice if rather than doing that, you can sell the hotel room or the B&B through your site, and rather than giving away some of your ticket revenue, the hotel or the B&B is giving you some of their revenue. People are coming to your area because you're there. You're the attraction that's driving people there. The accommodation is something they need to do when they're there. So if I'm 200 miles away and I'm Googling Cotswold Farm Park, then wouldn't it be nice if you could lead with an accommodation offer for me?
Yep.
Let's just be very clear though, that's nothing, that's nowhere near the roadmap for the next 12 months. No. We might be in a position, I hope, to start considering when it ends up on the roadmap in 12 months' time, but we're not there yet.
We've got a couple of we've got some volunteers to join us for timed tickets, gift aid, and you said something else.
Memberships.
Thank you. Gosh. Yeah, so
he's only in charge of the development elements of it. Don't worry about it at all, anybody.
But the good news is I'm not the one writing the code.
Absolutely.
Guy at Cogs Manor and Anya at Hawk Conservancy both volunteered. Lovely. Thank you so much, guys.
So that's it for the. I was going to say prepared. That's probably an overstatement. Has anybody got anything that you would like to discuss? Anything that you think would be interesting, or having gone on some of my content, not quite as interesting to the audience here? That's made Steve disappear. So I think we're done. As there's no one volunteering, thank you all for your attention. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it useful. We found it quite enjoyable. I'm talking on behalf of Paul now. Keep watching this space. We want to do more of this and bring you more things from outside the world of the Merrick world that you'll find interesting. Claire's just reminded me that the next date is the 2nd of November. It's not. It's the 9th. It's the second Thursday in the month. The link's already been set up. And we have another newsletter coming out on the first Wednesday of November, where there will be a link to the recording from this. And I think we'll send a link out to the recording to everybody that's been. And you'll be able to access that from our YouTube channel. Thank you all. Look forward to seeing you. Sorry, Paul.
I was just going to say, any feedback that people have got, we would love to hear it. That's why we've got our contact details here. Tell us what you'd like to hear more of. Tell us what you'd like to hear Andy speak less about. And the minutiae of British legislation. is it could easily make your list of things that you want to hear more of. So yeah, just send us an email. Let us know what you think. We'd love
And
to
if
hear.
that is the case, we'll get someone that knows what they're talking about to come on and talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank you
Wonderful.
all.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.